Welcome. Today we're going to discuss the death of Rebekah A. Byler and her unborn child in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus Shawn Cranston. What happened? Cranston, 53, faces charges of criminal homicide of an unborn child, burglary, and criminal trespass in the connection with the February 26, 2024 deaths of 23-year-old Rebekah Byler and her unborn child. Byler was found dead in her Fish Flats home in Sparta Township, approximately 6 months pregnant at the time of her death. According to previous testimony and court documents, she had been shot in the head and had had her throat slashed. Her two young children, ages 2 and 3, were present in the home during the murder but were unharmed. Cranston went to Byler's residence because he was told there was money there. After arriving, Cranston reportedly slammed his car door deliberately so that anyone inside would hear it and come outside. When Byler did not emerge from the house, Cranston allegedly entered the residence where he encountered the 23-year-old pregnant woman. According to the witness statements, a struggle ensued during which Cranston got behind Byler and sliced her throat before shooting her in the head. Putting the pieces together, the investigation leading to Cranston's arrest on March 1st of 2024 involved shoe prints found at the scene, tire tracks matching Cranston's vehicle, cell tower data, and GPS records. However, until now, authorities had not publicly disclosed a motive for the killing. When Cranston entered the residence, he discovered Byler inside. The witness stated that a fight occurred between Byler and Cranston, wherein the defendant said he had to bleed her out, according to court documents. Perhaps most significantly, this witness claimed that Cranston had sought advice regarding a glove with his DNA being retrieved from the residence. This detail connects directly to evidence presented at Cranston's preliminary hearing in March 2024, where a state police trooper testified that a piece of glove was found in the trash at the Byler home.
Also breaking this morning, days after a pregnant Amish woman is found murdered inside her home in northwestern PA, a suspect is now in custody. 52-year-old Shawn Cranston is charged with criminal homicide and criminal homicide of an unborn child in the death of 23-year-old Rebekah Byler. On Monday, state police found Byler, who was pregnant, dead inside her home, which is a few miles from Spartanburg in Crawford County. Although her official cause of death has not yet been released, troopers say she was found with cuts to her neck and head. Cranston was arrested sometime this morning and is also charged with burglary and criminal trespassing. He is currently being held at the Crawford County Jail.
The first hearing, March 15, 2024. Members of the Amish community filled 4 rows on one side of the courtroom on Friday's hearing. Cranston was wearing a bulletproof vest and said nothing during the proceedings. In court documents filed for a search of the murder scene, state police said they recovered guns, ammunition, knife parts, and other items. 2 counts of homicide and other charges against truck driver Shawn Christopher Cranston were forwarded to the county court for trial after a preliminary hearing on March 15th. In a newly released search warrant affidavit, a state trooper said Rebekah Byler's 2-year-old daughter and 3-year-old son were present during the killing, and the boy told investigators a man wearing sneakers had killed his mother. Andy Byler, Rebekah's husband, testified that his 2 young children told him about the crime when he got home from looking at potential roofing jobs. I didn't believe it. I really didn't believe it, Andy Byler said at the preliminary hearing for Shawn Cranston. Andy Byler said his wife had been doing laundry when he left that morning with a neighbor and a driver. When he got back home and went inside, Byler said he saw his wife on the floor. The driver, Julie Warner, called 911 while he waited in a truck for police to arrive. Andy told police that about 2 weeks before his wife was killed, a man matching Cranston's general description showed up at their home after 9 p.m. and inquired about buying the house, according to an affidavit. Warner said she tried to calm him down and went into the house to collect the children. She found them playing with toys in the dining room and led them out onto the porch. Warner said she told a 911 dispatcher she felt she could not check Rebekah Byler's pulse, but that she could tell her body was cold. Search warrant. Details released. In a newly released search warrant affidavit, a state trooper said Rebekah Byler's 2-year-old daughter and 3-year-old son were present during the killing, and the boy told investigators a man wearing sneakers had killed his mother. During the hearing, Trooper Shawn C testified that red and black Nike sneakers were found under a mattress inside a camper at Cranston's residence in Corry, Pennsylvania. Sedler said the shoe pattern was similar to what he photographed inside Rebekah Byler's home. Police also took DNA and fingerprints from Cranston. Tire treads from Cranston's Jeep appeared to match the tire impressions collected from muddy ground at the crime scene. A camera on a business across the street from Cranston's home recorded someone fitting his description, carrying items to the camper and starting a fire in the hours after Rebekah Byler was killed. Detectives said they hoped to remove burn pile remnants from Cranston's home. Police wrote that they were zeroing in on Cranston within a day of Byler's killing and soon seized his trash, where they found a glove that resembled a piece of glove found at the homicide scene. Ongoing witness statements. A second witness, according to the amended motion, provided a similar account, stating that Cranston had admitted to getting high on methamphetamine and burglarizing places. The witness also claimed that Cranston was reportedly told by his girlfriend that money was in the house and that no one would be home. A new witness statement revealed part of an amended motion in limine filed by prosecutors. In their initial motion filed on February 21st, prosecutors had stated their intent to use prior bad acts as evidence against Cranston, including prior thefts, break-ins, and threatening use of firearms. The new witness statements, if admitted at trial, could significantly impact both the prosecution and defense strategies. For the first time, they provide a potential explanation for why Cranston would have targeted the Byler residence. After repeated delays, the state takes over due to staffing issues. The Pennsylvania Attorney General's office has assumed control of one of Crawford County's most significant criminal cases in recent years due to staffing shortages in the local district attorney's office. Crawford County District Attorney Paula DiGiacomo requested the state's intervention after her office's staff dwindled from 4 to just 2 members, including herself. Attorney General's office accepted the case in October of 2024. According to court documents, 2 state prosecutors, Evan Lowry and Kevin Scheibel, both Pittsburgh-based deputy attorney generals, officially joined the case on January 13, 2025. Since making the request, DiGiacomo has managed to hire additional staff, bringing her office to 3.5 prosecutors. However, resources are needed to cover cases across 3 courtrooms at the Crawford County Judicial Center, juvenile court, and 4 district justice offices throughout the county. Prior to the staffing reduction, DiGiacomo's office handled all aspects of the case, including the 5-hour preliminary hearing in March of 2024 and matters related to the evidence disclosure. The investigation, the evidence. Investigators found shoe prints inside the Byler residence resembling Nike Air Force One sneakers. footwear that would be notably out of place in an Amish household, where traditional plain clothing is the norm. These distinctive prints became a key piece of evidence when a pair of Nike shoes with similar tread patterns was later found hidden under a mattress behind a plywood door in a camper in Cranston's Corry home. Tire tracks in the dirt of the Byler driveway matched the pattern of tires on a red Jeep Patriot registered to Cranston's wife. A fragment of a black nitrile glove was discovered at the crime scene, which investigators later matched to gloves found in Cranston's possession. Digital evidence. Cell tower data placed Cranston's phone in the vicinity of the Byler home at the time of the murder. GPS records from a device in Cranston's vehicle tracked its movements on the day of the murder. A comprehensive surveillance timeline was established through video footage from multiple locations. Video showed a red Jeep departing Cranston's residence between 8:39 and 8:42 a.m. on February the 26th of 2024. Additional footage captured the same vehicle on a road adjacent to the Byler home close to the time of Byler's death. The Jeep was later recorded at a Corry car wash in the early afternoon. Footage then showed the vehicle returning to Cranston's property between 1:55 and 2:02 p.m. A pattern emerges. What is concerning is evidence suggesting the defendant may have been monitoring or interacting with the Amish community, including the victim. Andy Byler testified that about 3 weeks before his wife's murder, he was awakened between 10 and 10:30 p.m. by the sound of a vehicle in his driveway. Upon investigation with his flashlight, he found a stranger in his barn. When confronted, the man claimed he wanted to buy the Byler's house and said he would return the next day, a promise he never fulfilled. Though initially uncertain, when asked in court if he could identify the man, Byler pointed to Cranston, describing the intruder as having a beard, a bald head, and being shorter and heavier than himself. Clara Wingard, another member of the Amish community, provided additional testimony that painted a picture of unusual behavior. She stated that Cranston, who had previously provided taxi service for her family on 2 occasions, unexpectedly appeared at her Sparta Township home on January the 11th, 2024. According to Wingard, Cranston arrived in a red Jeep, dressed entirely in black, including a black hat, pants, sport coat, and sunglasses, and was visibly armed with a gun in a holster on his hip. Cranston allegedly inquired about attending Amish church services, asking specifically about the time, but never followed through on attending. The path to trial. A preliminary hearing lasted about 5 hours and was held on March 15th of 2024 at the Crawford County Courthouse, where Judge Nichols determined that the prosecution had provided sufficient evidence to send the case to trial. Originally represented by public defender Gary Kern, Cranston hired private attorney Louis Emmy of Pittsburgh on April 2, 2024. The trial has been postponed twice at the defense's request to allow more time to review the substantial evidence. First from November to November 2024, and then to the current March 2025 date, which has since been moved to June 2025. In May 2024, when granting the second continuance, Judge Francis Schultz noted firmly, "There shall be no further continuances in this trial absent extraordinary circumstances." The Attorney General's office officially accepted the case in October of 2024. State prosecutors Evan Lowry and Kevin Scheibel, both Pittsburgh-based Deputy Attorneys General, joined the case on January 13, 2025. Unfortunately, more delays have been allowed in this case. However, as of March 7, 2025, according to court paperwork, The trial of 53-year-old Shawn Cranston will resume in June of 2025, citing new information in the case. Decorum order governing jury selection and jury trial. And now this 19th day of May 2025, after consultation with the President Judge of the Crawford County, the District Court Administrator of Crawford County, and the Crawford County Sheriff, the following order is entered. The terms of this order shall apply to the conduct of jury selection and the conduct of the jury trial, scheduled to begin at 8:30 a.m. on June 9th, 2025, in courtroom number 2 of the Crawford County Judicial Center. The provisions noted as mandatory shall be applied by the court and enforced accordingly by its officers and agents. The provisions noted as informational are intended to provide meaningful structure and guidance to those reporters and members of the general public who will be attending the jury selection and/or the jury trial. This information can be found at the Crawford County website. The link is provided for you, and at the end of this presentation, there will be a list of all the links for resources and where you can view the docket and all court papers that have been filed in this case. The docket, March 8th, 2024 through May 28th, 2025. The following slides will give you links to all the documents that have been filed in this case. And as I stated earlier, jury selection is slated for Monday, June 9th. And with any luck, this trial will get going and we will finally have justice for Rebekah Byler.